Welcome back, detectives. Fire Guard Liu Kang may have created the most dangerous identity crisis in Mortal Kombat history. Because in Liu Kang's new era, Hanzo Hasashi is alive. But he is not Scorpion. He does not have the mantle. He does not have the Hellfire legacy. He does not have the old Shirai Ryu origin. And the woman historically connected to his destiny, Harume, is now connected to Kuai Liang. So the question is no longer, will Hanzo return? The real question is much more dangerous. If Liu Kang gave Hanzo's entire Scorpion identity to another man, what does the universe turn Hanzo into next? Now, according to my detectives, the answer may be the wildest identity flip in Mortal Kombat history. Hanzo Hasashi as the next Sub-Zero. Hear me out. Today's investigation goes deeper than a simple mantle swap. I want to make that clear. Because Mortal Kombat 1 already gives us official evidence that Liu Kang could not erase one thing from Hanzo's soul, and that is his rage. And if our rubber band theory is correct, that rage may be the beginning of Hanzo's true Mortal Kombat 2 destiny. Let's investigate. Now, before we open the timeline files, we need a tactical update from our war room. I asked the detective crew one dangerous question. If Hanzo Hasashi is no longer destined to become Scorpion in Liu Kang's new era, what is Ed Boon planning for him in Mortal Kombat 2? And the results are explosive. A massive 88% of the war room voted that Hanzo will take over as the new Sub-Zero, as you can see here on your screen. 13% voted that he becomes the new Noob Saibot. And not a single detective voted for Hanzo staying a normal child apprentice. That tells me something important. The audience already feels the timeline's fracture. Kuai Liang has taken the Scorpion mantle. Bihan has fallen deeper into his darkness. The Lin Kuei throne is unstable. And the Shirai Ryu has been reborn. And now, the detective crew believes Hanzo may be pulling towards the one identity that will flip the entire Scorpion versus Sub-Zero rivalry on its head. But here is where this case gets dangerous. The polls tell us what the audience feels. The lore tells us what the timeline is trying to do. And when we apply the rubber band theory to Hanzo Hasashi, we may discover that Neverrealm is not simply setting him up to become the new Sub-Zero, they may be setting him up to become something even more dangerous. To understand Hanzo's future, we have to start with the biggest identity rewrite in Mortal Kombat 1. In the old timeline, Hanzo Hasashi was Scorpion. That identity was built from tragedy. His family was taken. His clan was destroyed. His soul was consumed by vengeance. And through that pain, Hanzo became one of the most iconic warriors in Mortal Kombat history. But in Liu Kang's new era, that entire destiny has been vanquished. The Scorpion mantle now belongs to Kuai Liang. The Shirai Ryu is founded by Kuai Liang. Harume is connected to Kuai Liang. And Hanzo Hasashi is not introduced as the legendary Hellfire Spectre. He is introduced as a young recruit, a child with raw potential, a future warrior being raised inside the very clan that used to belong to him. On the surface, that looks like Liu Kang saved Hanzo. No murdered family, no Netherrealm corruption, no eternal torment, no scorpion curse. But detectives, this is Mortal Kombat. When the timeline removes one tragedy, another one usually appears somewhere else or it's not too far behind. Because Liu Kang did not erase Hanzo's destiny, he displaced it. He moved the scorpion role onto Kuai Liang, but he left Hanzo's soul inside the timeline. And that creates one massive unanswered question. What happens when a legendary destiny gets taken away from the person the universe originally attached it to? This is where the new evidence comes in. Because Mortal Kombat 1 does not introduce Hanzo as a peaceful child with a clean destiny. The game goes out of its way to tell us something specific. Young Hanzo has rage. This is the smoking gun evidence. The new era does not say Hanzo is just talented. It does not say Hanzo is simply young. It does not say Hanzo is only learning. It tells us he has anger, and not just once. Multiple intros point directly at the same problem. This line is not random. This is Netherrealm telling us the core part of Hanzo's character still exists. Check out this clip.
Beware of young Hanzo's rage, Tomas.
Don't worry. Kuai Liang and I will tame it.
Then we get another warning. Check out this clip.
Hanzo must master his anger.
We will teach him the way.
Again, listen to the wording. They do not say Hanzo must master his technique. They do not say Hanzo must master his footwork. And they sure as hell don't say Hanzo must master his weapon. They say Hanzo must master his anger. That right there, my friend, is the rubber band effect. That is a fixed point in time. Something that always will happen regardless of how it happens, it will happen. Then another intro suggests Hanzo is not even fully ready to be tested. Check out this clip.
Wasn't I to face Hanzo today?
Kuai Liang didn't feel he was ready.
That line matters. Because why would Hanzo not be ready? Is it because he lacks power? Or because he lacks control? Then we get the other side of the foul. Check out this clip as well.
Your thoughts on our new initiate?
Hanzo shows great promise.
So the game is giving us both sides of Hanzo. He's not weak. He's not useless. He's not any of that. But he has promise. But he also has rage. And promise plus rage is one of the most dangerous combinations in Mortal Kombat history. Then, Smoke's ending gives us the origin. For those of you that are not familiar, check out this clip.
Kuai Liang and I were working hard to build our new clan. But even with the help of his close friend Harumi, it was difficult. The biggest problem was finding the right initiates. Then, one night, while walking outside Harumi's compound, I was attacked. I thought at first it was a Lin Kuei assassin, but his strikes were too uncertain, too angry. My attacker, it turns out, was a boy. Homeless and hungry, his assault was born of desperation. He needed money so that he could eat. It was like looking at myself 15 years ago. I would have ended up just like him if the Lin Kuei hadn't taken me in. So I took the boy to Kuai Liang, who also appreciated his fire. We made him our first initiate. The boy's name? Hanzo Hasashi.
Now, quick summary. Smoke explains that while he and Kuai Liang were building the new Shirai Ryu, they struggled to find the right initiatives. Then one night, Smoke was attacked. At first, he thought it was a Lin Kuei assassin. But the strikes were too uncertain, too angry. The attacker turned out to be a homeless, hungry boy fighting out of desperation. That boy was Hanzo Hasashi, as you saw. And Smoke says it was looking at himself in a mirror 15 years ago. That's what it was like, according to Smoke. So he and Kuai Liang took Hanzo in. They made him the first initiative of the new Shirai Ryu. That sounds wholesome on the surface, right? But from a lore perspective, it is extremely, absolutely terrifying. Because Liu Kang did not erase Hanzo's fire. He only moved it into a younger body and placed it inside a brand new clan already surrounded by war. Hanzo's rage is still there. It is just waiting for the right tragedy to activate it. For every new detective joining the investigation, here's the simplest version of the rubber band theory for those of you that don't know. Liu Kang can rewrite the details. He can change where people are born. He can change their jobs. He can change their families. He can even change who meets who first. But he cannot completely erase the fixed points that define certain characters, such as Kenshi, who still loses his sight, Mileena, who still becomes infected with Tarkat, Shao still becomes a warlord, Shang Tsung still becomes a sorcerous threat, Bihan still falls into darkness. The road changes. The destination snaps back. This is the law of Mortal Kombat 1. This is one of Ed Boon's laws. So when we apply that law to Hanzo Hasashi, we need to ask, what is Hanzo's fixed point? That's how we figure out what the story is and what to expect from MK2. It is not just the scorpion costume. It is not just the yellow mask, and it is most certainly just not the spear. Hanzo's fixed point is deeper than that. Hanzo is tied to the Shirai Ryu. He is tied to Wraith. He is tied to loss. Hanzo is tied to vengeance. Hanzo is tied to a soul that burns when the people around him are taken away. And Mortal Kombat 1 already confirms the emotional engine is still there. So, according to our rubber band theory, it does not need Hanzo to become Scorpion immediately. It only needs his core emotional truth to survive the rewrite. And it did. Hanzo still has rage. Liu Kang took away the Scorpion's mantle, but he did not erase the fire inside. Detective quiz. Before we continue, log your answer right now. In the original Mortal Kombat timeline, which sorcerer manipulated Hanzo Hasashi's hatred and helped him turn into Scorpion? Was it A. Shang Tsung, B. Quan Chi, C. Shinnok, or D. Unaga? Tap your answer and drop it in the comments. Because once you remember who manipulated Hanzo in the old timeline, the new era setup becomes much more dangerous. Our investigation has officially identified 3 possible futures for Hanzo Hasashi in Mortal Kombat 2. And because the detective crew voted so heavily for the Sub-Zero theory, we have to start there. This is the theory 88% of the war room voted for, and I understand why. The Lin Kuei storyline is completely unstable. Bihan has betrayed Earthrealm. Bihan has fallen deeper into darkness. Sector is rising as one of the strongest remaining Lin Kuei power figures. Cyrex has defected. Smoke has left. Kuai Liang has created the Shirai Ryu. So if NetherRealm wants to completely flip the old Scorpion versus Sub-Zero feud, there is a version of the story where Hanzo is pulled towards the ice side of the war instead of the fire side. Think about how insane that would be. In the old timeline, Hanzo hated Sub-Zero. In the new era, Hanzo could become what he once hated. That would be one of the boldest identity flips NetherRealm has ever attempted. But there is one problem. Hanzo Hasashi has too much identity attached to fire, rage, vengeance, and the Shirai Ryu. Turning him into Sub-Zero could work in theory, but only if NetherRealm builds it through tragedy. Something would have to happen that pushes Hanzo away from the Fire Clan and towards the Frozen War. Maybe the Shirai Ryu fails him. Maybe the Lin Kuei manipulates him. Or maybe someone close to him is hurt. Maybe Hanzo's rage becomes so uncontrollable that Kuai Liang refuses to train him further and another force steps in. That is where the Sub-Zero theory becomes possible. Not because Hanzo is naturally an ice character, but because the new era may be setting up an identity inversion. Old timeline, Hanzo was fire against ice. New timeline, Hanzo may become ice because fire was taken from him. This is a dangerous idea, and this is why this theory cannot be ignored. Hats off to Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios should that end up being the direction they decide to go. According to my investigation, it just might be. But we're going to go with suspect number 2 as to where Hanzo could end up. And that second suspect is theory 2 of Hanzo becoming the new Noob Saibot. This one only received 13% of poll vote. And while it did not win the war room, it still deserves serious investigation because Noob Saibot is tied to death, shadow, corruption, and resurrection. Those ideas fit Hanzo's old tragedy. But if NetherRealm wanted to give Hanzo a darker path without making him Scorpion, turning him into a shadow-based wraith could satisfy part of his old destiny. But there is one major problem. Bihan already occupies the Noob Saibot lane in the New Era story. And because Bihan's fall is such a major thread, replacing him too quickly would weaken the Lin Kuei conflict. So Hanzo becoming Noob Saibot is possible in theory, but it's less likely to happen. It feels less likely than the Sub-Zero identity flip or a completely new ninja identity, unless NetherRealm decides to create multiple Shadow Warriors. And with Quan Chi's NetherRealm magic and Titan level chaos still active, we can never fully close that file, to be honest with you. Last but not least, Hanzo becomes a brand new ninja? This is the theory that received 0% of the poll. But detectives, this may still be the strongest story option because if Kuai Liang already owns the Scorpion identity, NetherRealm does not need Hanzo to copy him. They need Hanzo to become the Liu Kang never planned for. They need Hanzo to become the thing Liu Kang never planned for. A new ninja identity, a new shadow inside the Shirai Ryu, a warrior born from the same rage but not wearing the same name. This would let NetherRealm do two things at once. First, it keeps Kuai Liang as Scorpion, protecting the new era twist. Second, it allows Hanzo to grow into a dangerous new character without being trapped under a mantle someone else already has. That is powerful. It also allows the writers freedom of expression, room to grow. They're not tied to any origin story or backstory. They can just write, and write. But because Hanzo does not need to become Scorpion to fulfill his destiny, he only needs to become what Scorpion always represented: wraith, revenge, and punishment. A soul that cannot stay peaceful once the people he loves are threatened. This is where this theory works so well, or I should say, this is why this theory works so well. The rubber band theory does not require Hanzo to wear the exact same costume, it only requires his core destiny to step back. And a brand new ninja identity would be the cleanest way for Netherrealm to make that happen. But because the audience has overwhelmingly voted for Sub-Zero, our official case file ruling is this: Sub-Zero is the strongest hook. A new identity is the strongest lore solution. And MK2 may be hiding somewhere between both. Now let's ask the most important question in the entire case file. What activates Hanzo's rage? Because right now, Hanzo has a home. He has Kuai Liang. He has Smoke. He has the Shirai Ryu. He may eventually have Harume as part of that family structure. And depending on how Liu Kang handles training him in the new era, Master Kai could even fit into this. Because Kai has already been referenced in the new era, and if Hanzo is a young, angry, unstable initiate, someone will eventually have to teach him discipline. Maybe Kuai Liang and Smoke are not enough. Maybe Liu Kang brings in Master Kai to help guide Hanzo spiritually. Maybe Kai becomes the mentor who tries to teach Hanzo how to control his anger. That would all make sense. But this is Mortal Kombat. And in Mortal Kombat, mentors get targeted, teachers get taken, families get threatened, clans get spent on. So the darker possibility is this: what if Kai does not save Hanzo? What if Kai, Kuai Liang, Smoke, Harume, or even Bo Raicho or Cyrex becomes the tragedy that activates him? What if the Lin Kuei attacks the Shirai Ryu? Or what if Sector decides the new clan must be erased? What if Quan Chi once again finds a way to manipulate Hanzo's pain? Because remember the old timeline? Quan Chi manipulated Hanzo's grief. He weaponized his hatred. He used deception to aim Hanzo at the wrong target. And Liu Kang may have changed Hanzo's starting point, but he did not erase Quan Chi. He did not erase Netherrealm magic. He did not erase the type of manipulation that created Scorpion in the first place. That means the same fixed point can return through a different color. Old timeline, Hanzo loses everything, is manipulated, and becomes Scorpion. New timeline possibility, Hanzo finds a new family, that family is threatened, and someone manipulates his rage before Liu Kang can stop it and possibly even have him take out his own family. Different path, same fire. And if the fire path fails him, if Scorpion's destiny is already taken, then maybe the timeline pulls Hanzo towards the opposite element: ice, control, and cold vengeance. A new Sub-Zero born from the rage Scorpion left behind. That is the danger. Honorable mention: look how Bihan became Noob Saibot and he didn't want to go back. He's actually grateful that Havoc did that to him. It made him a new mantle, it made him a new person, and he loved where he is. Maybe the mirror will do the same thing for Hanzo becoming the next Sub-Zero. Before we close this case file, I want to take a second to say thank you to everyone watching these videos. The watch time on these investigations have been insane. The comments, the theories, the poll votes, the way you all keep pushing these cases forward, I want to let you know I hear you loud and clear. You want the content to keep coming. So from here on out, Monday through Friday, every morning at 8 a.m., you can expect a brand new episode of the road to Mortal Kombat 2. New case files, new evidence, new theories, new character investigations. We're going to track this mystery all the way to the next NetherRealm reveal. But if you cannot wait that long, if you need your fix of new episodes right now, then do what one of our detectives, Lord GXK, did. Hit the join button below and become an official member of the channel. Members unlock early access to future episodes, plus my entire back catalog instantly, and gets a cool Mortal Kombat badge right next to their name when they comment on the channel in the comments or when we go live. And we will be going live in the future. So shout out to Lord GXK and every detective helping support the channel. It means way more than you know. After reviewing Hanzo's rewritten origin, Kuai Liang's stolen Scorpion identity, Harume's new placement in the timeline, the rise of the Shirai Ryu, and the return of Quan Chi, the new dialogue confirming Hanzo's rage, the detective crew poll showing 88% of you believe Hanzo becomes the new Scorpion, and the rubber band theory, our investigation has reached a disturbing conclusion. Hanzo Hasashi may not be returning simply to reclaim what used to be his. He may be returning to become what Liu Kang never planned for. A new weapon, a new shadow, maybe even a new Sub-Zero. Because if the rubber band theory is correct, Hanzo's story does not need to repeat itself perfectly. It only needs to snap back to the same emotional trauma. Hanzo Hasashi was never just a mask. He was rage. He was loss. He was vengeance. And in Mortal Kombat, vengeance always finds a body. Don't believe me? In the last timeline, we had two Sub-Zeros. We had Bihan, and then we also had Kuai Liang. In this timeline, we only have one Sub-Zero, which is Bihan. And they're brothers, right? So, which means it may be one of those things where Hanzo definitely ends up becoming the next Sub-Zero. Now, if you watch all the way to the end just to hear this part, I want to say thank you again. That tells me you are really locked into these investigations. So if you feel like I earned it, go ahead and support the channel by hitting that hype button, hitting that like button, and last but not least, subscribing to become an official detective of the channel. Because we have a lot more cases to solve, a lot more evidence to uncover, and a lot more on the road to MK2. Lots of investigations are coming. But only do that if you feel like I deserve it. Now, before we close this file, there is one final question I want every detective to think about. Where does Master Kai fit into all of this? If young Hanzo already has rage, if Kuai Liang and Smoke are trying to guide him, and if the Shirai Ryu is about to be dragged into the next major war, could Master Kai be the one chosen to teach Hanzo discipline? Or could Kai become the tragedy that finally sends Hanzo down the path, or I should say the timeline, that has been trying to create a new Sub-Zero? This is a case file for another day. So drop your final verdict in the comments below. Is Hanzo becoming a new Sub-Zero? Or is he becoming a brand new ninja? Or is NetherRealm preparing the craziest identity twist of the new era? Tap the Frost case file on your screen to continue the MK2 Civil War investigation. Join the channel if you want early access and instant access to my full back catalog. And if you're new here, subscribe to join the detective crew. I am the Wave Report. Case file number 005 remains open. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. for the next report. Don't be late.